All right, let's talk to Jonathan Hoenig from the Capitalist Pig Hedge Fund. He's a founding member there. And also Scott Martin today joins us from Kingsview Asset Management. Both Scott and Jonathan are Fox contributors. You have an interesting day on Wall Street that just wrapped up, Jonathan, because all the issues that were supposedly there in the morning were, I guess, erased when we figured the auto tariffs would be delayed. What did you make of the action?
Yeah, kind of was really, once again, all about trade, all about tariffs. And interestingly, although the Dow was up, that was good to see. The breadth of the market, the number of new highs versus new lows, was actually negative. About 140 new 52-week lows, only about 100 new 52-week highs. And as you said, the market only really began to see that rally once we heard that, in fact, the auto tariffs proposed by the president could, in fact, be delayed. I think this just emphasizes how big of an issue this is for the market, not just the obvious impacts, but the second and third level effects. A lot of service managers, a lot of logistic managers looking at their own inventory, trying to get a sense of how this is going to impact them. That's why it's affecting the market.
Because before all of that, Scott, we had numbers both here in China on retail sales, also manufacturing, that weren't so hot, right? So there is this, or was this narrative kind of developing early in the day that maybe we really should start to worry about this economic slowdown globally again. So is that now, out of mind, or is it something you're still thinking about?
Well, I don't think that data, Connell, helped things at all, for sure. I mean, that's been one of the arguments, right, the last few days and weeks, is that, the U.S. can withstand a trade war because the economy is so strong. We've heard that from the administration. But it goes to show you we have this ebb and flow of good and bad data. And I think Jonathan's right, about his layers or levels, whatever he said there about, now you've got USMCA being talked about, right? And other things that are just starting to impact and say snowball, where this isn't just an isolated China incident. And so it makes the markets a little nervous and worried that even if a deal does get done, how strong or how weak is it? And then there's still a lot of work left to do.
All right, and President Trump is expected to sign an executive order that would ban U.S. companies from using telecom equipment from firms that pose a national security threat, which could ultimately lead to a ban of Huawei. This is according to Reuters. Scott, what do you think of this? I mean, it kind of makes common sense. If we think that equipment is spy equipment, why would we let it come into the U.S.?
I agree with you, Melissa. We had a similar thing to some degree with ZTE some time ago, and obviously that didn't go the same way. So I think it's good to see that there's some concern and attention being paid there. But gosh, guys, I mean, as we've seen with these China dealings before and the IP theft, the currency manipulation, everything that's gone on with our tiff or our squabble with them, things prove to be maybe a little bit more dire or worse than we originally think. So, yes, while I like the efforts here with Huawei, let's make sure that we follow through with this and follow through with it very strongly.
Jonathan?
And Melissa, the government had already banned a government from using Huawei phones. This proposal now goes so far as to ban private use of the same technology. Now, they might think that it's a national security threat, but I think, as we heard, as Scott alluded to, this does pose the real threat that this could escalate once again when it comes to trade. More retaliatory tariffs, more retaliatory protectionism for China doesn't help our market here at home either.
All right, Jonathan and Scott, thank you.